Welcome to Bolna, Choda, Garna, Thala. In today's episode, we have a very special guest for you, Mr. Aashish Adhikari, CEO and founder of RedMud Coffee, with a tagline that states, "Every revolution starts in a coffee shop. Start yours." It was a no-brainer to have him in the show. We'd also like to thank Aashish Dai for his hospitality and cooperation for the video. Hope you guys enjoy it. So welcome to the third episode of Bolna Choda Garna Thala. Today we have with us Mr. Aashish Adhikari, CEO and founder of RedMud. So I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
So without any further ado, let's get to it.
Okay.
So first question is, in one of your speech, you told something like, you gotta find out why you need to get out of bed every morning. So मेरो question चाहिँ के हो भने तपाईको लागि चाहिँ त्यो कुरा के हो? What makes you get out of bed every morning?
It's your dreams. I think it's important to visualize where you want to be in life, and with that vision in mind, you need to create a course, a track towards that dream, towards being there. So every morning when I wake up, that dream that I have for myself and for my family and for my business and the organization that I'm trying to create, that's what drives me and keeps me motivated and keeps me going. So I think you need to have ambition and you need to have goal.
And what do you believe is the variable to success? What separates the winners from the people that have not won yet?
It could be different for each individual, the variables, but one thing is for sure. What one aspect will separate few things, I would say. First would be attitude. I think it's very important to have the right mindset and the right attitude to be able to become successful, and you also need to be a hardworking person. So if you're lazy and you're wondering why you're not successful, it's one of the variables is that somebody else is putting in more hours, somebody else is putting in more time and effort and thought into whatever you dream to be, but you don't put the efforts to be. So I think some things that I feel are important is attitude. There's definitely hard work and perseverance. That sort of a thing. You need to be consistent. You can't be quitting, being frustrated, depressed, finding excuses, and thinking to yourself why you're not successful.
People tend to complain a lot.
Yeah.
What is your honest opinion on formal education?
For me, I've been a outspoken dropout. So my reason for dropping out was completely different. So I don't advocate dropping out ever. I do think that school education is important. Like I was just talking to you earlier, that having a certain skill set and a degree can make a huge difference in your career. So I'm not advocating dropping out, but sometimes these days, especially for my generation, I would say, I was just telling you that there is a course that just opened up a couple of days ago for people that want to pursue mountaineering as a career. So I was just comparing that to a time when I was very young and we didn't have as many options, which is either you go the science course, you go the commerce, or if you're the सबसे पछाडिको lot, then you go for the art and humanity course. That was the mindset. Nobody told us that there's subjects like mountaineering out there, or there's art out there, there's music out there, there's cinema and photography out there. So it's the cheese हुँदैन थियो हाम्रो generation, and at that point I think the kind of education we were getting was very mundane and very institutionalized, and it's changing now. Mere age group, a lot of my friends are professors and teachers now. So I feel that the formal education sector is changing. The mindset of the teachers are changing. A lot of international communities have adopted different ways of educating children and not creating boundaries. We grew up with a lot of the boundaries. So Malaysia, it became a very frustrating thing. My quest and my thirst for knowledge and knowing was more by doing, by action. And I hated the classroom structure. I could just sit and listen to a 3-hour lecture on finance. That didn't entice me at all. So for me, it was a very personal choice. And I think it's much different scenario, so I don't criticize education sectors. I think they're adapting, but it's slow. But for people that come from a certain age and a generation, it was a different scenario then. So that 2 times ago, formal education like criticized also, and I say that it wasn't open enough, and it wasn't. There weren't many options as well. So I think now it's changed. That's my viewpoint on it.
So, individual about. आफूले चाहेको जस्तो गर्ने खालको के कोर्स छ भने चाहिँ
you can pursue it, you know. No, we didn't have it, but my mindset when I was a business student, I was your age, 21, BBA second year, studying is bank ma jagir khanu parcha. That was the thing that everybody brainwashed us to become. So we need to know how to balance the books and this and that. But I hated that. I just didn't enjoy that at all. So I was in BBA, but I wasn't aspiring to become a banker. So that didn't work out. So that didn't fit for me. And I tried to do the same in US as well. There was a lot of complications, other complications as well. But I got to a point where the money I was spending on education compared to the time and effort I can put into doing something outweighed the price. And it didn't make sense to me that I spent so many hours there, end up with 2.5 GPA. I know this is not going to get me anywhere, so I might as well invest in something. I think I knew not to waste time. So I knew that I'll just pursue what I want to do. So I went into working with a lot of entrepreneurs, following people that I thought I would learn something from, finding mentors, being a part of a growing business or starting up a business and watching it fail. So सब चीजें मेरे 20s में हुआ जैसा लगता है.
So what are your views on having a mentor?
I'm very serious about it in one sense because in my own life, when I look into retrospect, there was no place for a mentor up until my late 20s. Mentor, I really didn't know what it was. But having a mentor could have made a huge difference. Now I feel that have I had some people that could have guided me, coached me, gave me the warning signs. Because mentors are people that have already made the mistakes you're about to make or you're going to make.
They make the learning curve
easier. Plus, your perspective changes. You might be, they drag you out of your comfort zone. So having somebody that tells you like it is and gives you real feedback rather than tell you something that you want to hear. So having that kind of a mentor makes a difference. Just relax. And I think it can be from a family member, it can be somebody in business, in school, college, whatever, but find a mentor, somebody you look up to and you can get life advices from. That would be, I think, business may it could be a life mentor sort of thing. So I think mentors are important.
I feel like people are scared of friction in relationship, but it is necessary for development. Mm-hmm. That's what I feel. So you guys might not know, when he bought his first coffee shop, he didn't. You told in one speech, and you didn't know menu ko kuraharu ke ho, and you used to watch YouTube tutorials to when people order. And I feel like people chase perfection too much. Yeah, I'm not ready. So, what do you feel about perfection?
I never pursued perfection. That's something that I think Sanu dekhi I believe that I pursued playing guitar. I never got good at it, but I still haven't left it. So it's just that you can't ace everything in life. You can't just be good at everything. But you know what you're good at. If you know your own skill set, you know what your abilities are. And my ability was, or my confidence was that I'll figure it out. There's nothing that in today's context with all the technology that we have, that I need to go to a foreign country to learn, or I don't even need a mentor really in today's context. There's enough content out there that you can learn from. So I'll figure this out. I'll apply my experiences. How different could this business be? It's at the end retail. So I've worked in other retail sectors. Like I've sold phones and I've done a lot of different things. So I can apply that to this. It's just that this is food and beverage. This is not wholesale goods, and this is not selling retail merchandise. So my confidence was that I will figure it out. I don't need to be an expert. And a lot of the youngsters that I meet are in a situation where they rather look at, first cheese magnum opus. You cannot, if you want to be Van Gogh or a Thala artist, you'll have to make bloody thousands of paintings before you create that masterpiece. So I think execution is key, and you need to start doing rather than contemplating how you're going to do it. You stay in your mind a lot and you're not into action a lot. So I believe in pursuing and going for it, taking the risk.
Yeah, that's what I believe in as well. I'm going to quote you on this. You said, "Manselai mansele chaine रहेछ." What are your thoughts on the importance of a good circle or the relationships that someone has in their life successfully?
I think I'll quote somebody, Jim Rohn, when it is before even motivational speeches and quotes were there, this guy was already doing it 30, 40 years ago. So Jim Rohn is the pioneer of all the self-help and that sort of thing. He was a business guru, and what he said is, you are some accumulation of the 5 people you surround yourself with. That's sort of a thing. So I think it was Jim Rohn, and what I think I understood from that, or what I also feel is correct, is that it is at the end of the day who you surround yourself with. When I say mansela manche chaine, at the end of the day, what is a business? It's not this building or this picture or this tape. It's people. So if you want to create a business, then I think it is absolutely important that the first priority should be people. And also, we talked about mentorship and all that. So if you're a business leader or you're doing something, you're pursuing a goal, there are obviously some people that have already done it or done similar things. So if you're where I want to be, I know there's a lot of people that have already been there. So if I can go to those people, learn from their experiences, their stories, it would help me in my path. So I think you need to choose who you surround yourself with. You're 21, so you guys are friends today. 10 years down the line, it may not be the same. So you really need to figure that out really early on. And I think a lot of the young people nowadays are more aware about it. Just like someone said, they're more informed. Till 27, 28, I was still partying, so nobody had told me anything about choosing the right friends and doing the right things, that sort of a thing. So I think it's important. I get sidetracked anyway.
Talking about relationships, now that you have a kid, work-life balance, like what's the effect and how do you manage time for your family?
You just have to manage time. Manage time is the key there. But work-life balance is, because work and life is such interlinked fabric that you can't separate it. I tried to figure out routines and this and that. It didn't work for me. It's just that you need to be able to utilize your time better. You need to learn to utilize your time better. Like you said, time management is key. So you need to take time out for family. If for next 4 days I know I'm busy with meetings and decisions, and that's where my focus is. That's where not I'm thinking about family and doing certain things with family. I might be working an 18-hour day that day, or I might be just working 3 hours a day. But I think it's just management of time. Till stress yes, you have family, you have business, you made that choice. Yeah. So now you need to live with it, and you need to find out a way where you're not stressed out about it. You're chill and whatever works for you. Like I've taken up meditation and that sort of a thing to help me sort this out and be calm and approach my goal that way. So whatever works for you, use it. Work-life balance, I say. You'll have to figure it out your own.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
अनि तपाईले एउटा भिडियोमा you talked about how complain र problem भएकै ठाउँमा opportunities-हरु बेसी हुन्छन् अनि it resonated with me so much because that's what I tell people. मान्छेले भन्छन् कि अब नेपालमा केही पनि छैन हैन, नेपालमा opportunities-हरु छैन, but
fact is नेपालमा केही नहुनु भनेकै बुन हो जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई because you have the opportunity to keep बनाउनको लागि हैन so can you explain that mindset a little
यो mindset के कुरा हामी देशमा चाहिँ नेपालमा चाहिँ I have said this a lot I don't know somebody मैले कतैबाट लिएको पनि हुन सक्छ यो सुनेर तर हामी मानसिकतामा गरिब हो हामी अलिकति पूर्वाधारमा गरिब होला मानसिकतामा गरिब हो धेरै चाहिँ मानसिकतामा गरिब हो र हेर्ने पर्सपेक्टिभ र एउटा मिडियाको नि रोल हुन्छ यसमा जस्तो लाग्छ द रिजन आइ एम हियर इज द्याट यु नो आई वान्ट टु टेल माई स्टोरी सो द्याट मोर यङ पिपल फिल द्याट देयर्स पोजिटिभ थिङ्स ह्यापनिङ हियर एज वेल खालि हामीलाई चाहिँ एउटै मात्रै पिक्चर देखाइन्छ कि नेपाल इज गोइङ डाउन द टोइलेट इट्स गोइङ डाउन द ड्रेन एभ्री डे म चाहिँ पेसेन्स भन्ने कुरा कहाँ छ त हामी 20 वर्ष त मैले देखिसकेँ पोलिटिकल इन्स्टेबिलिटी गिभ नेपाल सम टाइम जुन पोजिटिभ न्युजहरू छ त्यो कहिले पनि तपाईँहरूले सुन्नुहुन्न बाहिर देयर इज गुड स्टफ अल्सो ह्यापनिङ देयर इज अ लट अफ न्यू एन्टरप्रेन्योरल एन्डेभर्स द्याट आर गोइङ टु मेक अ लट अफ डिस्ट्रक्सन इन नेपाल एज वेल डिसेन्ट्रलाइज हुँदैछ नेपाल eventually this is going to create a more bigger larger lucrative market for Nepali goods हामी नै कफीमा इन्भल्भ छौँ you can find your niche and do whatever you want in Nepal त्यो न्युज चाहिँ त्यति बाहिर मिडियामा आउँदैन it's only negative things so I've refrained myself from reading a lot of these news I stay away from I select what I want to read and I just don't let myself get infected with this mindset which is सबैतिर वरिपरि नेगेटिभिटी नै छ चारैतिर स्पेशली यङ पिपललाई त यसले प्लेग जसरी पक्रिन्छ छिटो बिकज यो जम्पिङ अन द्याट ब्यान्ड वागन अन सोसियल मिडिया एन्ड दिस एन्ड द्याट एउटाको ओपिनियन एउटातिर गयो भने वी आर अल प्रोटेस्ट यो ब्यान गर्ने जुन कुरा थियो त्यहाँ प्रोटेस्टको लागि आई फिल द्याट्स एब्सोल्युट वेस्ट अफ टाइम फर यु यङ पिपल टु बी सिटिङ आउट अन द्याट स्ट्रिट एन्ड होल्डिङ अ प्ल्याकार्ड टु I never vote so more politically inclined but you're holding on to somebody's agenda without really addressing and understanding what that real agenda is. You want to make an impact, there's other ways. There's other long-term solutions for that. So, म पनि त्यही देख्छु कि हाम्रो mindset चाहिँ corrupted छ र political influence धेरै छ youthमा र नेगेटिभ न्युजले मात्रै ठाउँ पाउँछ बाहिर र एउटा चाहिँ त्यो वातावरण बनाएको छ जहाँ चाहिँ केही छैन नेपालमा भन्ने धेरै उदाहरण छ इफ आई क्यान सिट हियर एन्ड डु सम रिसर्च विथ सम यङ पिपल आई गिभ यु 100 examples of people doing really amazing things in Nepal, creating businesses around solutions, problems. Because जहाँ problem छ त्यहाँ solution खोजेर त्यसको वरिपरि बिजनेस बनाउन सकियो भने that is a sustainable business model भन्छु म चाहिँ so नेपालमा त्यसको कमी छैन खालि यही हो कि सिस्टमले अलिकति हामीलाई गाह्रो छ र we need to be patient, we need to give some time to the current government, let the political stability come in, and I see good things happening in Nepal. म चाहिँ नेगेटिभ देख्दिनँ म चाहिँ
So when you're talking about mentality, है तपाईले त्यही भिडियोमा you said that मान्छेहरुको इन्भाइरोन्मेन्टले गर्दा नै पिपलहरुको मेन्टालिटीले गर्दा नै तिनीहरुले they don't dream big हैन Could you describe that a little and एउटा के मेसेज दिन for people that are afraid to dream big
त्यो कम्फर्ट जोनको कुरा हो जस्तो लाग्छ पिपल म चाहिँ साउजी सिन्ड्रोम भनेर एउटा मैले युज गरेको छु वर्ड अ लट यु ओपन अप अ स्मल बिजनेस देन यु गेट सो कम्फर्टेबल विथ इट एन्ड वन्स यु स्टार्ट मेकिङ अ लिभिङ त्यो एउटा कस्तो हुन्छ भने वाइ टेक मोर रिस्क भन्ने एउटा कुरा चाहिँ हाबी हुन्छ र रिस्क टेकिङ बिहेभियर त्यो अर्ली स्टेज अफ स्टार्टअपमा थियो होला सर्टन लेभलमा आएपछि सक्सेसफुल भइसकेपछि चाहिँ एउटा जीविकोपार्जन हुन्छ र मान्छे कम्फर्टेबल हुन्छ र त्यही कम्फर्ट जोनमै बस्न चाहन्छ त्योभन्दा बाहिर जान चाहन्छ
पिपल गेट कम्प्लिसन कि अब अलिकति सक्सेस टेस्ट गरेछ भने दे जस्ट हाइड इन देयर डोम एन्ड दे डोन्ट ब्रेक आउट बिकज दे आर सेटिस्फाइड अनि प्रोग्रेसै खोज्दैन जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई पनि
I see more of that tendency in younger people, but let's say entrepreneurship is not new to Nepal. My father was an entrepreneur, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. It's just that the word entrepreneur now is more fancy and used more frequently. Nobody called my father an entrepreneur, we call them a businessman in plain terms. So business people know about in Nepal. It's just that their mindset of scaling up was very small and few people did scale up, but a lot of like in my industry, I see Syam Kakshapati as somebody that I look up to. When I was a teenager, the place to go was Bakery Cafe, and he had the vision, ambition, and the idea to scale up his restaurant business. And I see him as an example of an older generation entrepreneur who had done something that I'm trying to do today, right?
Largo question, eh? Burning your hand or doing the bush?
Yeah, you अस्ति भर्खर मलाई नै परिरहेको dilemma हो. That's why I made that social post. Is I had a clear decision to make, which is do I take more risk or not? And I chose to take more risk, so I have to say 2 birds in the bush because म अहिले भर्खर कम्फर्ट जोनको कुरा गरिरहेको छ. बर्ड इन द ह्यान्ड हेरेर बस्यो भने 2 इन द बुश कहिले पनि हातमा हुँदैन.
Side hustle, eh? In a video you said that you did 50 things. eBay-हरु पनि गर्नुभयो अरे हैन. अनि मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्छ भने people when I tell people side ma yo गर हैन 9 to 5 को side ma पनि if you want to earn money, like they keep complaining I don't have money and I tell them side ma yo गर हैन, but they're like I don't have time. So त्यस्तो मान्छेको लागि के भन्नुहुन्छ तपाईँ?
I think it's just again laziness के कुरा हो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. So a lot of people ask me like, I say, are you always energetic like this? I think I have always been like, if I'm always pursuing the next thing. At this point, it's only RedMud. But when I was young, I was not afraid to take up a new job. Plus, एउटा त्यो impatience पनि थियो ममा जुनले चाहिँ it made me try out a lot of 50 things भन्दा, not all at once, but in a course of let's say a decade, where I've done jobs like sales ko job, I've done pizza delivery, I've sold phones before there were anything called smartphones. I've sold merchandise. I've been in the alcohol distribution business, wholesale, lot of different things. And the eBay thing, I used to work from 7 to 2, and I had an eBay store, and I used to pursue running an online store. After my job was over, I used to work between 7 to 2 in the morning. So my evening, I had a lot of time with me. So I used to find time to do these things. If even today, if I have nothing to pursue besides my business pursuit and personal things, I'll find something creative to do, like write something or create a podcast or shoot a video, go travel. It's just that it's just in my nature to be pursuing something constantly. So just to sit and complain that yo chaina, u chaina, making excuses is very easy. जे जति छ त्यो भित्रै बसेर सीमित भएर डेफिनेटली गर्न सकिन्छ. गरिरहेका मान्छेहरूको उदाहरण जति पनि छ.
So basically people are too lazy.
Yeah. If you really don't want to do something, you will find 100,000 reasons why you don't want to do it.
I also feel like मान्छेहरू जो complain गर्छ नि, it's just a cover to justify why they're being lazy. So let's go to business and finance. What's the difference between a startup and a business? If there is any.
It's the same thing. I think I don't think there's much difference, because you have to start up to create a business. So once it gets to a point where I think it's sustainable, you could call it a business. But if it is just an idea that's taking off from entrepreneur's head or a team meeting or something, then that would be a startup in my sense. But I don't think there's major differences, because the pursuit is same, which is profitability number 1. And people and that sort of a thing. So I think it's similar words.
How did you raise finance?
The story is out there. First friends, fools and family. Then through banking sectors. I think यसको पनि एउटा चरणबद्ध हुँदो रहेछ. जुनमा चाहिँ first it's friends, family and fools, and then it was banking, and then it was venture capital, and it's still venture capital, and maybe tomorrow going IPO, I don't know. So I think there's stages of fundraising in business, and you learn as you go, and this has been my major job in RedMud mostly.
What are your thoughts on taking debt? I feel like people are scared. Right?
You need to be 14% in Nepal. You need to be scared of the debt, because as a growing business, the debt can take away all your cash flow. And so I think at this point, to start up a business in Nepal, you need to be a bit careful where you get the capital for, because of the cost of capital. So banking sectors also, they're not very flexible in terms of lending. They only have a rigid format, which is you need to have collateral and you need to have something to back up the loan. So you're risking a lot. There's a lot of safety for the bank, but for the entrepreneur, there's a lot of risk involved. 14% interest, and you might lose your property. So I think debt in Nepal is very expensive at this point, and if you can find other ways of funding your business, it would be better. I think as low the cost of capital, the better for a growing business.
अनि तपाईले डेट लिँदाखेरि हैन you said that most people rejected you and people told you कि ल यो तेरो business चल्दैन हैन and पहिला पनि when you were trying to do the export को business your friends backed out त्यस्तो moment मा how did you push yourself?
I just didn't think too much about it, right? I've been through so many of those things before that it doesn't matter to me at that point where even thick skin. Even if in terms of relationship, all those I've faced, failures in larger scale, and I've lost a lot of money. I've lost businesses that I've built. Your eBay business that I was talking about got pulled off because I ended up infringing one of the copyright laws, which was a naive rookie mistake from me. Or just being ignorant about the laws, and so eBay took action and it pulled dead worth of mehnat. In 2 days it was gone. I was generating $300-400 $500 a day from that store. So it took big hits before, so small hits didn't matter. So I just grew a thick skin for it. I just don't think too much about it. Keep moving forward.
So let's go to VCs. What do you think are VCs looking for, and what makes or breaks a good pitch?
I think what I've learned is, or my experience is, that people invest in people. If you are pitching a business idea to me and I'm the VC, I'm looking at the person. Second is the business model. And when I say the person, it's credibility, how honest you are. How much you are willing to learn, how much driven you are. I think a lot of the VCs look at that. I haven't met a lot of VCs. I've worked with a few, so I can say that I think that's what they see in us. My team is that my team is young, dynamic, and it's driven. So I think first is the person driving the business, or the team driving the business. Is this the right team or the right person to execute? Second is the business model viable, which is it going to make money, or is it just some crazy idea with inflated numbers and a fancy business proposal? No, it has to make sense. Does the market really want the product? That sort of thing. I think those are the two main key. And third, I would say the risk involved also. What kind of a market you are talking about? That sort of a thing.
Risk return could
yeah.
What made you decide, okay, it's time to take on external financing, but it's time to scale?
When I was approaching venture capitalists for further growth, we were already expanding. We were opening our second outlet in Jhamsikhel. I had learned the tricks and trips of making coffee at my store number 1, which is at Thala. And then I graduated from that. I added a partner, my friend and my brother joined me, and then we expanded into a kitchen and more into a larger cafe. So we were already in the process of growing. So our trajectory was already there, and this opportunity came in front. A lot of people say, luck ko kura, I was lucky or something. But I just say that, I got selected for Rockstar and this opportunity was in front of me, and what have I got to lose? I'm already growing my business, and there's a room full of investors that I can present my business case to. Not a lot of people can say they have that opportunity. So I just went for it. And I was able to convince the VC that this is a viable business model and I'm the person to drive it forward. So we've finished first round of funding with one VC, and we're right now moving into round 2. So it's just that the opportunity was there, and I took full advantage of it.
VC के कुरामा हैन, after taking external financing versus before external financing, business model or business run गर्ने तरिकामा कति फरक आउँछ?
Definitely, like having a partner that is funding your business plus having availability of fund changes the way you do the business. This is the first store we built after we got the VC money, so we're exactly in the result of the VC because we took this risk. We took this risk, and store 1 I had bought, store 2 I had bought and remodeled we had limited resources. My partner and I had limited finance, so there was only a certain level of things we could do, or we could generate cash flow and then build up on the business. But that would be the longer road, the slower road. I think it's just a nitro boost, where if you're a scaling business, you have a business model, you have the right team, you can act as that boost that takes you from, let's say, level 1 to level 2. So I think availability of fund plus a vested partner in the business, it could be a very suitable scenario for a growing business. So I think it was easier as well to execute what our plan was.
So with that, हामी अब लास्टमा पुग्यो हैन, audience को क्वेशनहरु, is there standardization in the inputs to the RedMud को सबै आउटलेटहरुमा, अनि if not, why?
There is, but it's still a work in progress right now. Store 1, store 2, it was completely, I was involved myself. I was there every day, that sort of a thing. But now processes have to take over. And I would like to also say that, we don't get skilled manpower. Somebody that we can hand out a manual and say, operate this way. We have to train those people. And there's a big vacuum of, like, if you're a HM Porego, hotel management Porego graduate doesn't want to work with us because their ambition doesn't suit with us. We are not in a situation where we can pay pre-trained people. So we have to bring in untrained, completely unskilled manpower and train and then execute. So it's taken a little bit of time, but we've already enforced SOPs in operations, in our products, and we're almost at the brink of going into phase number 2 of RedMud, where these things are already sorted out. So there is all those mechanisms in place. There might be flaws that the person asking the question has noticed in execution. That's where our efforts are right now, where we're trying to polish that. All these guys are going through training every week. So we're doing what we can to solve this in the long term. And there are standards in place.
So, Ani, what are your views on the new tax changes?
It's just wrong. It's just wrong because, the cost of capital that I just talked about, you're basically killing a young business if you're taxing it to the max, and you're asking them to also pay 14% interest on their loan that they might have taken from a bank. So how is an entrepreneur supposed to sustain and grow a business in this scenario? Nobody's going to have big ambitions in this environment. It really takes somebody with a crazy mindset to think that, or a positive mindset on Nepal to look at 5 years, 10 years down the line and make an investment today, because they don't see the returns coming immediately. There's taxes, there's cost of capital, and I think that it doesn't have a lot of homework behind it. It's just something that instead of increasing taxes, if the government had looked at cutting cost, rather, because I'm a business person, that's how I look at things, is why increase the budget when you can reduce cost and you can make government more leaner. But I think it is just a transitional phase where we're going into decentralization, the states are being formed. I think the government is overwhelmed that they cannot sustain this cost. But I think हामीसँग surplus छ. We have more availability of debt we can pull from ADB and World Bank and all that, so we have that option as well. So I think I don't think it had a lot of homework behind it. It was just a knee-jerk reaction by the government, sort of a thing.
Ani, do you think you'd make it this far if RedMud only had traditional coffee shop menu?
Not really. It would have taken quite some time. Plus, I realized that really quickly. I've shared this in my previous stories also, is that I cannot just shop what I think the market wants. I have to look at the market and mold myself according to that, because if I just want to stay there, I would have stayed in a niche. Maybe I would have just had one shop and I would have had a lifestyle business rather than a scaling business. So my coffee shop, my happily coffee बनाएर बसिरहन सक्थे, but increasing from 1 to 6 to now we have an ambition of going to 15 next year. So that wouldn't have been existent. To growth एकदम slow हुन्थ्यो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ.
You just got to adapt to the market.
Yeah.
अनि businessman र entrepreneur को बीचमा के फरक छ जस्तो लाग्छ तपाईलाई?
Basically कुरा एउटै हो. अहिले I think it's just terminology. Entrepreneur sounds more fancy. Like I remember when I was very young, everybody was saying what their father was in their classroom, and I was the only one who got up and said my dad is a businessman, because त्यो कुरा त्यति बजारमा सुनिँदैन, or that wouldn't be something people would be like, wow. If I say my dad was a doctor, then they would have said, oh wow, your dad is a doctor. But I looked at my father as a role model. He knew how to scale businesses. I saw it in front of my eyes. So मेरो लागि चाहिँ केही फरक छ जस्तो लाग्दैन. I just think that the word is different now, and it's now entrepreneur. But I think entrepreneur is a better word because it describes a little bit more what a business person is, which is a driven person who has a vision and is out there, that believes in action, that sort of thing. So I think it's a better word. That's all I think.
And I know you read tech, I know you listen, but any books that you recommend?
Something that I read recently, I can't remember. Your Brain at Work by David Rock. This was a game changer for me. I've been meditating as well. And this book describes, especially for the young people, the instant gratification generation, this book is absolutely important because it explains how your mind works and how your mind has these reward systems. And so if you understand that, I think you will be a better executor. Either it is in business, in studies, whatever it is. And you can also understand yourself through things like depression and failure and that sort of thing. So something that I recently read, Your Brain at Work, I think that's the title, by David Rock. And it explains neuroscience in a very layman terms. So even I'm living business also easily through stories and that sort of thing. So you can relate to like, oh, okay. So I can understand that my brain is doing this when this scenario or this incident is happening. So I think it's a good book to read.
So with that, we're at the end of our interview, right? Anything you'd like to say to the youths or our audience? Any last message?
I love being around young people because that's old people can teach you things, but young people have the energy. So I love surrounding you guys, and I want to say thank you for all the people that support RedMud. And I'm not just here to come here with thought out things. Everything I've said is through experience. And what I think is right, it may apply to some people, it may not apply. Take what you want and run with it. And I just want to just leave with one message, which is stop reading the news because there's a lot of good things happening in Nepal, and focus on the positive. Don't feed your brain with negative stuff. Get out there and take action. That's what I want to say.
So thank you.
Thank you.
So that brings us to the end of our video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe and share if you liked it, and comment what you think or if you have any advice. And do follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hustle Nepal. Keep hustling.